What are your first thoughts when you hear about a motorcycle that has its origin in China? Indigenously developed in the heart of the dragon, not in Italy, not in some other European country, but in China. Well, for starters, it has to be feature loaded. But you see, when you're developing a retro motorcycle like the QJ SRC 250 that we have here, features and gimmicks can take a backseat to make way for unadulterated riding experience. Because motorcycles like the SRC 250, they should make you feel things, evoke a sense of legacy and authenticity. So where does the SRC 250 stand in that regard? That is exactly what we are here to find out. This is Anand Pandey, you're watching BBC Top Gear Mag India, and this is the QJ Motor SRC 250, which is, wait for it, the cheapest twin-cylinder motorcycle that you can get in the country. Looks might be a little subjective, but what all of us can agree on is that the SRC 250 looks a bit malnourished from some angles and confused from some. Take a look at the void around the headlamp unit, for instance. And as you move towards the back, it starts looking like a scrambler and not an out-and-out retro motorcycle. It lacks that retro flair that should be a core essence of a motorcycle which has taken the vintage route. And then there's the build quality. I mean, if we had to make an ASMR video of the SRC 250 fiddling around with the panels and the switchgear, I'm pretty sure it is going to receive so much hatred because there's nothing satisfying about it. And even when you slot the key in, you aren't even sure whether it is in completely or not. Now that could be the title of my sex tape. But there are some loose body panels around. If you take a look at the plastic fuel tank, which is loose. The number plate holder, now that vibrates like anything, like it was destined to be something else, if you know what I mean. So the SRC 250, it looks and feels like a bespoke motorcycle, which was assembled just a night before when you place the order. But as bespoke motorcycles usually go, there's nothing exclusive about it. The riding ergonomics, now they are pretty sorted though, because they strike a good balance between being upright and being slightly aggressive, because foot pegs are set further behind as you compare it to another motorcycle, say the classic 350 for instance. The handlebar are wide, providing you with good leverage while taking corners or maneuvering the motorcycle in tight spaces. And the rider's triangle, it is pretty flexible though, so you can sit upright or scoop back to enjoy the most out of this little hooligan. I'll let you in on a little secret though. I cannot hate a motorcycle because I see them from a perspective of different experiences, and that brings us to the 249cc inline twin-cylinder engine that the SRC 250 is powered by. It puts down 17.4 horsepower at 8,000 RPM and 17 Newton meters of torque at 6,000 RPM. And you couple that with the low curve weight of 163 kilograms, and what you have is a sprightly little hooligan. Now the SRC 250, it is very eager off the line, as if you have unleashed a rabid dog. But I actually like the way SRC 250 sounds, because the engine lets out a deep idling exhaust note once you fire it up. But the vibrations, they play a huge spoil sport here, but more on that later. Because once you fire the SRC 250 up, it feels like you have awakened a whole swarm of wasps inside the engine. And if you feel that the KTM sound like auto rickshaw, wait till an actual one pulls alongside you while you're riding the SRC 250, because they sound uncannily similar. The exhaust note, now it improves a little as you make your way up in the rev range, but that's about it. The top speed which I saw was somewhere around the 115 kilometers per hour mark, and I didn't want to push it further because of some very particular reasons. One being the love which I have for my life. The fueling too could have been a little better in the lower revs because it is very snatchy down there. The biggest drawback though is the severe lack of refinement, something which is surprising for a twin-cylinder motorcycle that is not even that stressed. It transforms into a legit moving massage parlor as you make your way up in the rev range, and not in just the lower revs, but the overall experience becomes a buzz fest as soon as you cross the 3000 RPM mark. Couple that with loose body panels and tada, you will be left with a shaking body after a spirited riding session. The engine, now that is harsher than it should have been, and the gearbox, now that is smoother than it should have been. You see, they were aiming for refinement while making that gearbox up, but they aimed too far and they went too far indeed, because there's absolutely no tactile feedback when you're shifting the gears. So you don't even know which gear you are in or when you have reached the limit, which is the fifth gear. So a gear position indicator inside the instrument cluster would have been a welcome addition when it comes to the SRC 250. In terms of features, the SRC 250 gets a fully digital instrument cluster with 2 trip modes and a tachometer. It doesn't get any sort of connectivity, but there's one neatly placed USB charger beneath the cluster. One more thing though, once you slot the SRC 250 in the 5th gear, the gear shifter tends to be a bit too high, forcing you to keep your feet under it to be a little more comfortable. The best thing which I found out about the SRC 250 is how nimble it feels on its feet. The front end is responsive and the tires grip well too, inspiring enough confidence to have some fun with it when the corners arrive. However, straight line stability is one area which is very worrisome because the SRC 250 tends to waddle a lot over small and frequent undulations on the road, especially above 90 km per hour. It gets telescopic forks up front and coil springs at the back. The setup soaks big bumps well and helps the motorcycle maintain its line in the corner too, but frequent bumps tend to unsettle the bike rather too quickly. It doesn't inspire much confidence and you sometimes feel that you are at the edge of tipping over. The front brake too doesn't inspire too much confidence as it lacks bite and feedback both. The rear brake is a sharp affair and has a good bite. Overall, the braking performance of the motorcycle is only adequate at best. The SRC 250 might be a slightly unique proposition, but this is India and it will have to compete in a segment which already experiences a lot of cutthroat competition like the Honda CB350s, the Javas, the Yezdis or the Royal Enfield Classic 350. Now in terms of appearances, looks might be subjective, but there's one thing for sure. The Classic 350 might be the cheaper alternative here, but it is leaps and bounds ahead of the SRC 250 when it comes to the overall ride experience or build quality for that matter. The latter is being said about a Royal Enfield. How the turntables. On paper, the 350cc single-cylinder engine of the Classic 350 might sound like a decade-old architecture, but boy, it is one refined and characterful unit. I've lived with this engine for a good 3 months or so with the long-term Hunter 350 that we had, and I can vouch for the fact that this engine is indeed beautiful. It has got good low and mid-range, and the overall riding experience is downright surreal. When it comes to overall performance, there's no escaping the fact that the SRC 250 feels and is faster by a fair margin. So if thrilling ride experience is what you are seeking, the SRC 250 might be a better choice out there too. Another catch with the SRC 250 is that it heats up during chock-a-block traffic, despite having a liquid-cooled engine. The Classic 350, despite having a bigger engine, remains the better cooled motorcycle out of the two. There is no denying to the fact that the SRC 250 also feels a lot more nimble and easygoing as compared to the Classic 350. And it shouldn't take a physicist to determine why is it so. The SRC 250 is almost 30 kilograms lighter than the Classic. Around corners, the SRC 250 feels a lot livelier. The Classic 350 suspension is biased towards comfort while the SRC 250 has a nice balance between stiffness needed for fun and suppleness for when you wish to take it slow. Sure, the SRC 250 might have better overall performance or better top end rush as well, but at least the Classic doesn't feel like it is going to drop some cc's off out on the streets while ripping it. The cheapest twin cylinder motorcycle in India. While I so wanted to focus on the latter part, it is the former one which is more pronounced because the SRC 250 doesn't justify its price tag. It is held back by below par build quality and a course riding experience. And then there's the presence of veterans like the Classic 350, making it even harder for the new kid on the block. But not everything is dark and negative about the SRC 250 because it has got enjoyable performance and it definitely feels more agile as compared to the Classic. So if I had to describe the SRC 250 in a DOP's language, it is just the first cut without any corrections or changes for that matter. Give it some time and it might evolve into something more livable and durable. But for now, I'm just going to cherish this unique riding experience that I had with the SRC 250. And trust me when I say this, you ought to experience it too. This is Anand Pandey from BBC Top Gear Mag India. Thanks for watching this video till the end. It is about time to sign off now. I'll see you around.